Now call me crazy, but it looks like the Duke boys ended up in Detroit. Once they land the General, maybe they'll hightail it inside Cobo and check out all the cool cars here for the Autorama. All right, boys, carry on.
Welcome to the Detroit Autorama. This special presentation is brought to you by National Parts Depot, restoring American history. Each year, hundreds of cars are entered to participate in the Detroit Autorama, also known as America's Greatest Car Show, and only 8 of those vehicles will be finalists to compete for the Riddler. Let's take a closer look at the incredible Grade 8 winners and see just how competitive this hobby can get.
It's a great honor to get picked in the 8, and you're humbled by it, so you come up here hoping, wishing, and maybe. And if it happens, it happens. If you don't, you got to go home and live with it. All right, I'm George Poteet. I'm from Collierville, Tennessee. I'm here at Detroit Autorama 2017 for the car show here this 3 days this weekend. We didn't start building the car for the Riddler Award. It's just something you sit around and talk about doing, and we did decide to do a 32-door sedan, but it didn't have anything to do with the Riddler until about 2 years into it. Well, I was raised in the 60s when hot rods were big, 50s and 60s, and where I came from, you had to work on your cars to have transportation. So I've been dealing around with cars since 63, 64, and back then a 32 Ford's all that anybody wanted because they were the first V8, and at the time, at one time in life, they were the fastest hot rod you could buy. The biggest modifications are the cutting and chopping and welding, get the proportions of the car down to where we wanted it to get, the height of it, the rake of it, the way it sits, and it took quite a bit of cutting on it to get it to sit the way we wanted it to sit. 2 of my favorite things would be the windshield post laid back. Normally you don't do that on a 2-door sedan. You do it on a 3-window coupe, but you wouldn't on a sedan. And then the interior, I like the early European vintage race look.
This project took us 5 years to complete. We sat on it for a year, so it's been a 6-year build for us. My name's Robbie Kelvin, so I'm here from Mount Vernon, Texas for the Detroit Autorama. This is my 1949 Chevrolet 5-window truck. I am the owner builder. I have a little shop in Mount Vernon, Texas. We do mostly collision repair. That's where the bread and butter's at. But I have 3 guys that do custom work all year round. We put out about 3 customs a year. A lot of modifications to it. It sits on a C5 Corvette chassis, a complete chassis. We chopped the top 1.5 inches in the back, 1 inch in the front. The truck's been widened by 5 inches to fit over the Corvette chassis. Been channeled 4 inches to pancake it. The fenders have been raised. And the bed was made out of a 55 Cadillac Eldorado. It's where we got the quarter panels and rear body panel from. Started, as a high school age, modifying cars in the backyard. And some of that stuff I got from my dad. We would take VWs and strip them and make dune buggies. And my dad was kind of disappointed when I went in business as being a painter. He wanted me to do the family business and be in construction.
About 6 years ago, I started building on this car along with one of my lifelong friends, Chuck Powell. We spent about 6 years working on this car in the weekends at my home shop. I'm Larry Griffey. I'm here at the 2017 Detroit Autorama. I brought my 1954 Corvette. This morning I found out I won the Grade 8 for the Detroit Autorama 2017. Mr. Porco gave me a call and met me down here, and I could only say that I was elated. That was our goal in building this car, was to get a Grade 8, and we have achieved that, and we couldn't be more pleased. We built it as a tribute. They built 3 of these cars that were 54 Corvettes that had the 56 top and roll-up windows. They built them for the Autorama series in 54, and they were actually 53 Corvette bodies that were changed into 54s. They put this top and roll-up windows on them. We wanted to do that with the car. That was our theme, to do that car, but with all the Corvette technology, the independent suspension, the big brakes, the supercharged LS motor. We widened the body, we channeled the body over the frame, we had flared, increased the wheel well flares, lots of different things along those lines. I designed the car, myself and Chuck Powell, a good friend of mine. It was our ideas of what we were doing. My wife was heavily involved in this. Robbie was behind us 100% in doing this. My crew at Griffey's Hot Rods and Restorations is a small group. There's 3 of us. We've actually worked the last 11 weeks, 7 days a week, without a day off, any of us. Over 80 hours a week everybody's put in order to get this car finished and bring up here. After this show is over, we're going to take the car home and put it in the garage for about 6 weeks and not look at it. We've been burnt out with it over the last 6 weeks or so. But once that's done, then we're going to put the car through some tests. When we get an opportunity, we're going to drive it, rebleed the brakes, do the various things. The car will be driven. The car will be at Good Guys this summer. We will have it on the road course at Good Guys. We are going to drive the car.
I brought this little 33 Ford. I started from scratch and stayed with it for about 5 years. I'm Buddy Jardin at the 2017 Autorama in Detroit. The car is totally hand-built. The frame is steel. The rest of it is totally aluminum, body, everything. Every piece on it was machined, but it's a one-off car. When I walked in this morning and saw the Grade 8 sign on the car, I was elated. I found the body through Steve's restoration in Portland, Oregon. We conferred back and forth for a pretty good while before I ever got it from him. And finally, we made a deal, and actually I was going to bring it back to Spring Branch, Texas and finish it myself. But when I got into it and saw the machine work that needed to be done, I had to leave it with Steve, and he was nice enough to work out a deal with me, and we finished it up at Steve's, and I'm very happy with the car. When I walked in today and saw these lights on top of this car with the color that I picked and worked with him with, I said it just almost made me want to cry. There's nothing like this car. The crowd reaction has been fabulous. I don't stand around here too much, but when I do, I get nothing but praise, and you'll be the winner. And it's glad to hear, but they're not the judge, okay?
Like this particular vehicle is a hand-built body made to resemble a 29 Ford pickup truck. That means that this body was made out of a flat piece of tin and it's formed. My name is Dennis Porco. I'm here at the 2017 Autorama at Cobo Hall, and I'm from Hamburg, New York, and I'm a home builder. I got a 60-foot garage in the back of my house, and this has been a hobby since I was 18 years old, and I'm kind of fortunate to be 70 years old and still having the same fun. To be in a Grade 8 is pretty much an elite group of people. Some of them are home builders, most of them are rod shops that do a lot of professional work, and to be in this group, it's quite an honor. Most of my machinery is old school. I do have a lathe, I do have a mill, kind of self-taught on a lot of this stuff. Well, when I was 14 years old, I got a Model A coupe with an Olds engine in it, and ended up building an American Graffiti coupe and drove it to high school. I was hooked. You know, in class I got in more trouble from reading them little small hot rod magazines, but I prospered. Nobody starts out at the top, you start out at the bottom. Life is interesting. You gotta just keep pushing the envelope all the time to try something harder and harder. And before you know it, you're doing stuff that you never thought that you could do.
My name is Dennis Johnson. I'm here at the 2017 Detroit Autorama. I'm here with my 1966 Corvette with a 2015 interior. This morning we received the Grade 8 award for our car. We were very ecstatic about that. The competition's very tough this year. On the other hand, I know we worked very hard on this car. When I was in high school, I graduated in '70, the cars had no computers whatsoever. They were a thing of the future. And, we didn't have videos to play with, so our passion was cars. Now this car's come complete circle for me. It has all the electronics you could ever think of, and it has all the integration with the phone system. It's really spectacular in terms of integrating in today's world. This car is built by the Auto Shop in South Burlington, Vermont. The head fellow there is Scott Roth. He's he's a genius of all sorts. He does a lot of wiring, he does a lot of fabrication. He's a genius when it comes to design work as well. So this is largely his baby with my kibitzing. Sometimes I would convince him that my ideas were right. I'd say most of the time he convinced me his were right. This is the inconspicuous contender for the Grade 8. The whole goal here was not to say, wow, look at that. It's to say, wow, why is that car here? It's built spectacularly, but what it's here for is the fact that it's 6 3/8 inches wider. It's custom fabricated from bottom up, and it's got a 2015 interior in it with an LS9 engine that looks like it's a C2 engine. We built this car to be here today. We built this car to win the Riddler Award. To make a Grade 8 if possible, we'll feel great about that. Obviously, the ultimate would be to win the Riddler.
My name's Andy Leach, owner of Cal Automotive Creations, and this is the 1930 Ford Model A coupe we built for Ted and Colleen Hubbard. We're here at the 2017 Detroit Autorama, and this morning we were awarded a Grade 8 with the Model A, so we're excited. Ted's just got here to see the car for the first time, and things are going great. We started with the car. Ted always said he wanted kind of a cartoon look to the car, so get the back end up and the front end real low. So we reverse sectioned the body, 2 inches in the rear and 1.5 inches in the front to give it more proportions like a 32 Ford. Chopped it 6 inches, made new quarters, new doors, new cowls from scratch, raised the wheel openings in the car, even streamlined the sides of the car, the flush fitting doors that Model A's never had. We took a 32 5-window roof and reshaped it on a power hammer. 32 windshield was put in and obviously downsized and worked, and the cowl was severely cut up and reworked, so it's kind of a blend of a 32 and a Model A. The drivetrain for the Model A is it started with a blown Jardin. It's an all aluminum block, all aluminum heads, so they're brand new. H&H Flatheads built it. It's got a Scott blower on top of it, 297s on top. Ted had to have an automatic in it, so it's got a C4 automatic in it. That's probably the most modern part on the car right there. Winner's quick change rear end is hooked to a fin drive shaft as well, so we kind of got this fin theme going throughout the car. When we first started building this car, the car was never intended to be what we have now, but probably 6 months ago, Ted came to us one day and he said, I'd really like to take this car to Detroit and compete, So 6 months ago, we kind of reinvented the wheel and went after it, and it's kind of a unique thing because it's a kind of a period-correct traditional hot rod, which typically doesn't do well here in Detroit. So Ted wanted a cartoon-looking badass hot rod, so that's what we gave him.
I'm a civil engineer by trade, and I love cars, I love mechanical things, and this has been a hobby of mine for about 21 years. And this is my 4th car that I've developed. My name is Ed Sears from Annapolis, Maryland. I'm here at the Detroit Autorama. I've brought a 1941 Ford truck. Yeah, this morning they presented me with the Grade 8 award. I was very gratified and very thankful to get that. The crowd reaction has been very good. I mean, there have been just crowds around it all day long. Started building this car about 7 years ago. My intentions was to build a car for the Detroit Autorama and to be for the Riddler Award. It's probably the most prestigious show in the country, and the level of competition is probably as high or higher than any place else in the country. We've chopped the top, we've leaned the windshield back, we've extended the doors 5.5 inches, we've extended right behind the doors 2.5 inches, so the cab has been extended 8 inches. Consequently, the wheelbase has stayed the same, but we've shortened the bed 8 inches to compensate for the length of the cab. The dash is a 46 Ford dash, which I've always felt was the most beautiful dash in the 30s and 40 area. I don't think a pickup truck has ever won the Riddler here at Detroit, and I hope that I have a good shot at winning.
When they called my name, I just sunk in the seat, and I just can't tell everyone what a great experience this has been for me. Been doing this for a long time, and I wanted to get here. Everybody said, you need to try to do it, you need to try to do it, and as I said before, I was lucky, and it was a great venture, a great venture. It was a long, hard pull, especially the last couple of months. It was costly. From the time we got the Grade 8 award on Friday, and from that point on, you know, you'd sit around the car, you'd listen to the people talk, and a lot of oohing and ahhing, but as I know, I've showed with ISC before, and the public is not the answer. You gotta win over the judges and do that, but I don't know what we could have done more to the car. I mean, we did everything. My plans for the car is whatever Steve wants to do with it, and he's the one that needs the publicity. I love it, you know what I mean, and I don't want to take it home. I don't want to take it out of these lights, really. I'm very, very happy, and actually, to be honest with you, I did not see the car completed until I walked in this hall, and it was, I picked the colors, of course, and Steve worked with me, and the painter upped the black a little bit, putting the red in it like I wanted, and when I saw it, I wanted to cry.
When I heard we were Grade 8, of course, I was shocked. You know, I mean, you expect it, you want it, but you don't know. You never know. This is a car show, right? You never know. And I immediately looked around to see if Buddy was around. He wasn't even here yet. But that was quite a moment. Not nearly the moment that we're going through right now, but that was very exciting. Well, when they called Buddy's name and our name and the name of the car, I just went into a blank. I mean, it was just, I don't know that I expected it, and I don't know that I didn't expect it, but I'm so pleased for Buddy. I am. I mean, it means a lot to me as a builder, but Buddy's a special guy. He's a very generous guy, and he's been a heck of a guy to deal with, easy to deal with. We only fought on 2 or 3 things about the car, and I let him win once in a while. But it's been a great journey with him.
We had a few ups and downs, but I just couldn't be happier with the builder and our relationship, and maybe we'll do it again one of these days. I'm Buddy Jardin, and I just won the 2017 Riddler Award.
This presentation of the Detroit Autorama was brought to you by National Parts Depot, restoring American history.